Hey everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's on the Tube, or welcome back if this is your 11th The Rookie Season 3 episode review. Let's get down to it. The Rookie this week, honestly, this is a really solid episode. Really solid. Like every single storyline. Oh my god, I loved it. And this is just like your traditional rookie magic. Like they do so much with everyone. Nearly everyone has a role to play. Everyone has a storyline. Again, we're in this middle weird like we're back from the break where we kind of did a lot of the stuff we wrapped up last year. Now we're kind of setting up some new stuff. And I'm very interested in how that's all going to proceed forward as we continue along our remaining season 4 journey. And honestly, again, going back, we're going to go on another 2 week break apparently because of just this is how things are right now with the world. I was very happy. This was a very solid end to the two-parter. Definitely, it left things really set of like conclusive. It kind of gives you a little bit of imaginative of what's going to happen next with these characters. But at the end of the day, I'm excited. I'm excited to see where things go from there. So let's go through the Butcher recap and talk about this week's episode of The Rookie. So we begin right where we left off with last week. Bailey's being read her charges due to everything that's happened to her with the accusation. I believe that's where we start off with her and Nolan sitting down and kind of like, this is kind of how it is, you know. She has a minimum of at least 8 years in prison if she is found guilty. Well, guilty of the charges. Otherwise, if she pleads guilty in a plea deal, she will most likely get probation, but she will have a drug charge on her record. She will probably get kicked out of the Army Reserves. She will most likely get kicked out of the fire department, and basically her life's over. All because her husband refuses to let her be happy. And honestly, I really hate people like that. I really do. I talked about a lot about that last week, so I won't get too. I won't retread much ground here. So, there's not really much options to do. Plus, no one dating her kind of also gives him a bad reputation of like, oh, he's dating someone who did drugs. That's gonna really affect his career, affect how people judge him because like, oh, he likes a drug dealer. Okay, I see how it is. No one, I see how it is. I'll keep that in mind. I'll keep that in mind. And he's already got so much baggage with everything he's done in the last 3.5 seasons of the show. So not entirely something that he really needs right now on his record. So, but of course, this is Nolan we're talking about. He's very committed to her. He's like, I'm gonna be with you no matter what till the end of the run. So we're gonna figure out a way to kind of take him down and get you exonerated from these charges. So she decides to go to Gray to kind of get this weird leave of absence, this undercover assignment kind of spiel where he's gonna try his best to try and get any sort of evidence against Bailey's husband. But keep in mind that, you know, if no one doesn't succeed on this and Bailey does end up getting found guilty on all these charges, there is, of course, obviously, no one has to think about, well, is he going to stay in his career for her, or is he going to have to dump her to save his career? That's going to be a question, but of course, no one's like, I will find the answer. It will get out. It won't have to lead like this. Lopez is offering her services like once everything's kind of set in stone for Nolan, she'll gladly take the case and kind of help him out on that. But she's got another murder call to go handle right now. Chen is currently trying to do an all-night law studying, not for Cloud, but trying to figure out a loophole to help the guy that got arrested last week, trying to find some sort of legal loophole for him to go for so he doesn't have to go to jail because he's still 16 and they're trying to charge him as an adult. Tomorrow's being, you know, the supportive, you know, sister, adopted sister, so to speak, just trying to support her and trying to, like, you know, be there for her emotionally as well as kind of like, you know, peg her a little bit up. Aaron's back this week. New Rook. I hopefully that's his name. I'm very hopeful on that. We get to see his mother for the first time. Again, expanding Aaron's world, trying to figure it out. It turns out his mom has been very much on the offensive of trying to improve her son's social life, not social life, more his public image after, you know, everything with the case and now just everything that he's going through right now. She wants to help him spin the image a little bit, trying to make it more positive, which is why she's trying to get him a reality show. Which I'm like, oh god, no more reality shows, please. And it's funny, like I'll get to the end of the episode, I'm like, damn, they really said fuck you to reality shows. They really did. Aaron has no interest in doing this, and Harper's just listening, and it's like, don't disrespect your mother like that's like, I don't want to do a TV show. Like, bro, I would love a TV show. Give me a show. I mean, of course, if this was like pre-COVID or post-COVID, like, give me a show. I would kill in the ratings. Maybe I'll get canceled after one season. That's probably gonna be the best bet it's gonna happen. So. That's Aaron's front. He's rejecting it. Also, yeah, I forgot Harper spent the night with her boyfriend James, the community guy, and they seem to be on a really solid path right now. They seem to be really going well. They're doing things by the book. It's typical couple stuff, but of course he has to deal with the drug dealer from the drug lord from last week, the one who's been harassing the kid for his money back. And he's going to try and talk to him about like trying to back off his family, since now that the kid's in jail, he's trying to go after the family to get his money back. And of course, obviously the family's like, I have nothing to do with my son's involvement. Like, I am not giving you any money. And the guy's, obviously he's a piece of shit. Like, he only cares about his money. So that's not the kid. The only issue here is that Harper wants to, be involved and try to like back him up. But James is very vocal to her to say, like, look, if you back me up, that means the entire community will know that I'm with a police officer, and they're going to assume that all the problems that they're coming to him to kind of get advice from him is going to now be channeled through her, and that's going to basically destroy any sort of trust they have in them, which makes sense. Kind of doesn't make sense if, like, they're doing something illegal, but, like, they just, the social stigma of like, oh, the police find out what I'm doing, I'm gonna get arrested, especially now that he's involved with them. So he wants her to just like keep her distance, kind of like, look, let me do my thing. I'll call you when it's done, but just let me do this by myself. Harper is not one to take no for an answer. We all know that already. I want to say, where do we go from there? Yeah, Nolan and Bailey start undercover a stakeout against the guy. And it's kind of going really boring, to be honest with you. Like, they're just like talking just like about the situation and stuff like that. The skipper from last week, which I swear to God, I know this actor's name, I know his voice. I checked on Wikipedia, apparently. I checked on IMDb. He's not credited for this episode. I'm like, you sound really familiar, but I'm like, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. He's just giving Nolan some updates about him, and they're trying to connect that. Well, how is he getting this money, since the drugs that he planted in Bailey's car is very expensive for a mostly forceful job that pays very minimal wage. Like, there's absolutely no way he just bought it off the street. So he has to be involved with whatever front or gang sold him these drugs. So now they're trying to find out, well, how is he getting the money? And apparently there have been pen pal connections when you're in jail, where like for inmates to kind of not feel that bored, they get pen pals, they write to people, and turns out he's been writing to a bunch of females in order to try, make them feel like, hey, look, you're my world, like, once I'm out of prison, we're going to be together. And keep in mind, there are some success stories out of that. It is a very, very, very low percentile. It does turn some results. It's very risky. But, yeah, so that's what he's been doing, and he's been in contact extremely with this one woman who's been very, in her letters, indicating that, like, hey, I really, really love you, and, like, I will do anything for you, and, like, the way the letters are sounding, it's like she might be more involved than we think, so Nolan and Bailey head out, they go check her out. Chen stops the ADA from last week, the one who blamed her that, this is all your fault. Also, thankfully, the lady that the kid tried to rob last week survived the heart attack. She's going to do fine. So that hopefully will kind of help the kid's case. But the ADA is like, listen, considering the fact he did have a gun, he did threaten someone, we could still get him out of this charge. Like, the best deal we're able to give him right now is if he becomes a CI, still stays on the streets to get the information they need. But Chen's like, no, you're going to ruin this kid's life just for him not to go to jail, which does definitely suck. It really does. Also, it doesn't help that Chen's like hopped up on a lot of coffee and begins to start berating the guy. So not really a good impression for Chen right now. The call that Lopez hits up was a murder scene underneath an overpass. And they find the body of a young woman, and she, her phone has a picture of her, Tamara, Chen's sister, adopted sister. I keep forgetting adopted sister. I keep forgetting to put that in. So they try to figure out the connection. Like, at first I was like, scared, like, are they gonna make Tamara a killer? I'm like, there's absolutely no way they're gonna do that. So they head back over to Chen's apartment, and they tell Tamara the bad news that her friend's dead. And at first Tamara's in denial, and then once she kind of settles down for a little bit, then she starts to kind of give a little bit of a confessional story about her friends. When she was on the streets, she kind of had this small friend unit group that were all homeless kids. You know, they were all trying to help each other to survive. They kind of had the system because, again, you know, sadly the case, there's not really much support system for kids out there because, you know, once you're out on the street, if you don't have parents, it's like, well, it's on you. Whatever you do with your life, that's on you, which kind of is a really shitty system. But so the system for them is that there's obviously their usual, like, here's this common place where all the homeless teenagers just kind of, you know, chill around, stay together, and kind of, you know, try and get, you know, get some sort of, like, I don't know how to say it. It's more along the lines like they're just trying to fend for themselves. They're trying to figure out how to navigate through life, just not having any sort of like major support system financially or, you know, real assistance wise. So I think from there, yeah. So then they start to figure out like, well, is there anyone that your friend was, um, anyone that she was involved with that could seem a little bit dangerous? And Tamara's like, look, I haven't talked to her in 3 months. Like once you took me in and, you know, kind of get me started in my new life, I really have been struggling to keep up with her. Which I'm like, I'm just very curious. Like if she has a phone, well, then again, I forget. Like yeah, you could just use Wi-Fi. You don't really need a data plan. So if you have the phone and you have like you could just go to free Wi-Fi spots. I guess that's how you can operate. So that kind of makes sense. But anyway, so Tamara starts to like let in a little bit about her. Like it's very subtle clues that we're starting to get more about Tamara's life before she met Chen. Maybe like a little bit of like when she was with Chen at the start of like back in season 3. So one of the things that Tamara admits that sometimes for at least for female for the female young homeless community, what they try to do is that they try to go on hookup apps and once they find someone to hook up with, they're very hopeful that once their encounter is over that they could sleep over and then they can get like maybe like some food, maybe take a shower in the morning, at least to kind of refresh themselves so that when they do go back out there it's kind of like I'm at least reset. It is not the best move. I think one of the terms of I forgot how I Met Your Mother had a little bit of a scandalous joke about that. I can't really remember it right now. So yeah, that's what they do in order to like kind of like it helps with their survival. Like you're in a warm place, you kind of have a bed to sleep on for the night. So it is something for them to go through. So Chen and Bradford decided to go lead on that front. Maybe they could find someone that they were that she was in contact with before she died. And when they're in the car, you know, Chen's like, well, Tamara knows a little bit too much about this. Like she's too familiar with this, and Chen starts to fear that she once did this in order to survive. And again, Bradford's like, there's a possibility. Did Tamara talk to you about this? Chen's like, nope, has not come up in conversation. And you know, it's obviously a point like, no matter what, like Tamara and Chen just met. Like, yes, Tamara is very grateful that Chen took her in as a sister, took her into her home, gave her like a fresh start in life. But that doesn't really qualify Chen to like really get, I need to know 100% of your life. It's not something that she doesn't, if she doesn't want to do it, she doesn't want to tell. That's basically it. It's her decision in the end because it is her story. But Chen wants to find out because she wants to make sure that Tamara's safe and that there isn't any other crazy people that's going to go after her. So they eventually get the dating app, the app list, and there's 4 frequently messaged people that this girl has been hooking up with, and so they decide to start going on the list. One of those people, they call in, and the guy's like, you're shady, you know, you're not shady, but more like you're douchebag. You know, he has a girlfriend, she travels, he's lonely, he needs some butt. I'm trying to keep it PG-13 at the time. I apologize. And they did meet the night of her death, but it was mostly like she was there to hook up with him. But then she was like, "Oh, my girlfriend's coming home right now," and she's like, "Look, you gotta give me some money right now, otherwise I'm gonna tell your girlfriend about everything between us." And he decides to just give her a 20 because that's all he had on him. But she also stole his watch, so after that he couldn't really try to contact the police because if he makes a report on her, he has to admit to his girlfriend, to everyone, like, yes, I had an affair. Or I was cheating on my girlfriend with this homeless girl. So that's not really something he wants to get out. So once they figure out, like, yeah, it's really not him. It isn't. They start trying to piece together, well, now we can find the watch. Where could that go? And so Tamara is also heading out to the her old homeless unit where a bunch of kids her age are kind of, you know, just mourning the death of their friend, and, you know, and they're all like, she was, before her death, she was saying like, oh, I'm so proud of Tamara that she found the right person. Well, not romantically, just found a really good person that Willie was to give her a fresh start, and that, you know, it's awesome. And the guy that's telling her to start is like, oh, she's always talking about you like tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow. It's like, shut up already. Which I'm kind of like, that's kind of a little shady, but like whatever. Chen and Bradford meet up with Tamara, and Tamara just gives them the details that there is a pawn shop in the city that will kind of buy things off the homeless kids so they can get some money going. So that's kind of, they assume, where she's at. Or at least that's what they assume. Like, she sold the watch, so they head off there. And of course, Chen asks, like, "Are you okay? Are you safe right now?" And Tamara's like, "Yeah, I'm fine. Don't worry about me." So they head off to go do that. I also forgot, yeah. So because of Harper's better judgment, she and Aaron decide to hit up they hit up the community that James is located at, where he's about to talk with the guy. And of course, the guy is basically like a piece of shit, doesn't really care. It's like, look, I don't care. I want my money back. You know, okay, he's in jail. Not my fault. He doesn't know how to rob a store. That's not my problem. I want my money back. So if he's in jail and not able to give me my money, his family's out there. They'll give you my money. Like, I really hate people like that. I really do. But, you know, they have bigger thugs. They have guns. So it's like, you know, there's not really much you can do on that front. So, but sadly, when Harper and Aaron are sticking out the joint, they find a nearby thief, and sadly, they can't ignore it. So they head out of the car. And sadly, Harper and James, you know, sadly lock eyes. So now James knows. But however, Harper and Aaron tries to chase after the dude, but Harper accidentally runs into a mother, and she gets a little bit, not stabbed, but like a little bit impaled a bit. So they have to head over to the hospital. However, when Harper's waiting there, even after when she's all stitched up, she was asked to stay a little extra because her lab work needs to come back, and they have to analyze it. Which Harper's like, "Am I okay? Am I sick or something?" And the nurse is like, "No, you're pregnant." Which I'm like, dun dun dun. Okay, I don't. Okay, before you're criticizing me, I have done, like, now this is the 301st episode. I have never done that joke, so do not blame me on that. I don't even know what I'm trying to blame for. I really don't know. So, yeah, but before we go any further, I mean, obviously, like, considering the context of things, like, oh, it's Harper and James's baby, but like, remember, she hooked up with her ex-husband on Halloween. Now they said, like, she's 6 weeks pregnant. We know it's after Christmas. Sadly, we skipped the New Year's episode. That kind of sucks. But it is past Christmas now, so it has been 6 weeks. Now, of course, that could mean a lot of things. That this could be before Christmas, this could be after Christmas. I really don't know. But you cannot fault that her ex-husband and her did do it. I highly doubt he put protection on because they were drunk. So there is the chance that she got impregnated from him. But of course, obviously, she's also been sleeping with James. So is James the dad? Is he the dad? Like, it's all so coincidental that they could take this in any direction. I mean, Harper didn't even consider the fact that her ex-husband could be the dad. She's just assuming right now that James is the father. That's going to lead to some very interesting dynamics as we lead into the second half, because we just got Lopez to have a baby. Now we got Harper having her own baby. So I'm like, this is so interesting. Maybe Chen's next. I'm joking. I'm really joking. I don't think they'll do that storyline, but for me, like, in my personal opinion, it's really going to be devastating if it ends up being if it ends up being the ex-husband's baby, because that means that right now Harper and her ex-husband are not in a great place. Even her and her daughter's relationship's kind of strained right now, because his relationship is destroyed, and, you know, Lila, like, lost the opportunity to have a happy family again. Well, a happy, stable family, but also like a mom and dad. So it's not really the best thing for Lila to deal with right now, which kind of it does really suck. So where do we go? Yeah, so for me personally, I hope it's not like it just ends up being at some point Harper's gonna tell her James that I hooked up with my ex-husband while we were dating. I was drunk. I'm so sorry. I know it's a cliche excuse, but I'm like, you know, at least she's got to be honest at some point. So I believe so she's kind of withdrawn from that. She meets up with James at the station. James is about literally walks up to say, "We're about to have our first official fight. This is how I like to fight. I'm gonna get straight to it." It's not really fighting, but it's more him being stern. And all Harper has to say is like, "I'm pregnant," and James is like, "Oh shit," and Aaron's like, "We gotta go. My mom's just called 911 and she's not picking up her phone." So that storyline interrupted. We go to Aaron's storyline, where he meets up with his mom at a studio, where a producer wants to pitch Aaron, like, "Look, if we make this show, you're the star. You've always been the villain, then you've been the in-betweener, now you get to be the hero. this if you make the show with us. And I'm just like, oh my god, what is with reality shows literally taking anything like, I understand if you have a message or you have a community or you have some sort of like majority reason, but then you have your Jersey Shores and it's like, is it really necessary? I mean, I know it's like hot people like doing hot people things, and then now we have Family Vacation where like they're all still kind of hot and they're all like basically going on family vacation while there's a pandemic. The one thing I will say about reality shows that like even I get a little pissed off of that is that MTV has the goals to make a Teen Mom crossover show between a lot of the original Teen Mom stars. And then they have a reaction show, an official on-the-air reaction show where they react to episodes of the show, of the real show. Think about that. There's an official show where they're reacting to another official show on a network. MTV, you might as well just give Jersey Shore a spinoff by this point, because let me tell you what. Anyway, enough about that. So Aaron ponders about it a little bit. He's still questioning it, and he's scared that if he does do this, it's going to ruin his credibility, it's going to ruin his image, it's going to ruin, and that's the problem when you do reality shows, because like most of the time, sad to say, yeah, they are fake. So it's like a TV show, except they have a different sort of camera, and you could find honest to God good reality shows out there. But most of the time it is very staged, because there's absolutely no way one person's life is that dramatic. Like, I have dramatic moments in my life, but it's not happening each and every week for me to have my own show about it. It really isn't. So sad to say, Aaron knows, like, if he does do that, like, his credibility will kind of be questionable, because what is true, what is not true, like, that's the big question. But he does eventually agree to do it. Even like the moment I thought like, oh, it's just her, is this, he's telling his mom like, I'm gonna do it, but as long as I'm in charge of my own story, I'm gonna do it. Turns out the whole thing was filmed. So I'm like, and this is exactly what I was just talking about. This is gonna be fun. This is gonna be fun. I am 100% certain before the end of the season we will get a reality show pilot of Aaron in the police station. That's how we're gonna do it. That's entirely how I predicted it's gonna be. If it doesn't happen, I owe myself. I forgot. I did have a pepperoni pizza challenge I had to do, but I completely forgot what the hell that was. I forgot. I was supposed to book stamp that. I forgot. Oh yeah, it was Chen, if Chen and Bradford were gonna hook up. I forgot about that. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, I forgot. So I apologize. So if that doesn't happen, then I will make myself eat a slice of pizza with broccoli. There you go. So I'm really screwing myself over here. I really am. Harper does tell James later on about also James does get advice from Wesley, and Wesley's like, congrats. I mean, were you planning on this? And James is like, nope, wasn't planning on it. Turns out Harper, after she had Lila, she was told that she could probably never have another kid. So Harper just went off her life, assuming that, yeah, I'm never going to be a mom again. Like, I'm just going to be a mom to one very healthy girl, and that's going to be it. Now her being pregnant again, that kind of does shake her worldview, and James has never had any kids before, so this is also very interesting for him to explore. But of course, that night when they go meet up, James is like, look, I'm sorry for my reaction. That's not how I should handle it. And they both agree, look, we're going to be badass parents to a lucky little kid that hopefully will come to a better world. So like, it's peaceful, calm before the storm. Well, I'll just say about that. I completely forgot about Nolan and Bailey. I forgot about that for a second. So Nolan and Bailey hit up the woman they presume is really helping out Bailey's husband, and yeah, it is her, and she's like already like brainwashed and thinking like, yeah, you're the villain, you're trying to get my guy to jail, like I hate y'all, like being fed false lies while Bailey and Nolan know the real narrative. So they convince her, they break the image, the mirror that this guy was trying to paint for her, and then once that's shattered, she starts figuring out all the connections, all the red flags. And yeah, she's done some pretty illegal things for him, but it could all be exonerated once she confesses and allows herself to kind of like help out in the investigation, which she does. So they're starting to get a ton of evidence in for her. And then once they start to get this laptop detail, he walks in, and of course, obviously, he's trying to like once again paint himself as a hero. He's like, what are you guys doing here? Like, this is harassment. I'm gonna go file a restraining order against you. Like, let me live my life. And she's already like, nope, like, you got to get out of here. This is not your house. This is my house. You need to leave right now. And of course, he's still trying to trying to get her back under her control, but it's not working. He eventually tries to leave with the laptop. She doesn't. Look, I bought everything you have, so leave right now. Otherwise, you're done. So he does leave, and then they regroup. It turns out the laptop did contain some sensitive information about him laundering some money for some very illegal gang activities. So he is involved in something. However, if he does try to access those accounts, they will track him, and then he gets busted. So however, he can't just let that go, because that's a lot of money for this gang to trust in him. So if their money's not getting moved around, they're gonna figure, hey, what's up, man? What's up? What you doing? Why are you not doing what we're doing? So it definitely it paints him in a very precarious picture. So Nolan decides to hit up our favorite inmate of the week, this guy. And he decides every time we see him, he just gets a black eye, he gets a broken arm. This guy is not popular in prison whatsoever. Everyone wants to fuck him over, which I'm not really surprised over. So yeah, where do we go? Yeah, so he admits, he kind of gives, well, if I was a guy in his position, then I would probably turn myself in, try to make a plea deal, try to find myself to kind of get the least amount of time possible. I will have to serve my sentence, but at least he won't be doing years. He'll be probably doing months, which is exactly what happens. He turns himself in, he makes a plea deal, he gets 18 months, and of course, Bailey's mad because she was about to get served 8 years for what she was about to get committed for. And Nolan's like, listen, I know it sucks, but, the police department kind of really cares about trying to hurt an operation in a major way than trying to get redemption for a woman and her husband's domestic struggles, which, again, it does kind of suck on paper, but again, you want to get these people off the streets, so this is kind of the only way that you're going to be able to really do so. So, yeah, so from that point onwards, we get to, so he files himself in for, to be kind of like a CI, trying to, get the information during an exchange, get at least a few of the dealers off the streets. So that was the plan, but of course, obviously, just nothing sitting right with them. But they get to there, and once they're kind of the stakeout van and kind of getting ready to go, Nolan gets another call from our favorite inmate of the week, who sadly lets Nolan in that once he found out that this guy was involved. And then I'm making sure we're recording, and I can't see the footage. Yeah, we are recording, thank God. Wait, are we on Discord? Oh yeah, we are in Discord. And my light is too bright. That I apologize for that. I'm still working on this new setup. I apologize. Of course, obviously, when we switched over to the TV setup, it took some while to kind of get the thing under control. So I do apologize for that. Yeah, so from there, where do we go? Yeah, so I forgot about that. So he gives him a call that he contacted the gang and kind of gave him the heads up. Hey, look, you got someone on the inside about to snitch on you. Just giving you a heads up. Like this guy's about to betray you. Also, if you're wondering the change of tone, like I was saying earlier in the review, I was processing the 300 episode of What's in the Tube, and sad to say, yeah, the episode got not corrupted, but most of the episodes really choppy video. So I ditched the video, and for some reason the computer was like, I'm done. I'm not recording anymore. It's done. And they stopped after 30 minutes, but we were wrapping up the episode, so that was working out better for me. Anyway, picking up where I left off. So they move in, once they discover the guy's been made, and very quick shootout. They take them down pretty quickly, but the guy tries to steal one of the bags filled of drugs or money. Tries to stupidly run. Nolan's the only one that goes after him, and quickly enough, in a very weird, very slow-paced chase scene, Nolan manages to go apprehend him, and the guy was like, if I'm going to go back to jail, I'm going to add whooping your ass to my charges list, and Nolan instantly takes him down yeah, Bailey made the right call there. She made the right call. So he gets arrested. He gets sentenced to 8 years in prison. He also has no choice but to proceed with a divorce hearing the next month. So no matter what, Bailey is finally getting out of that marriage. She will legally be single again. So she and Nolan decide to celebrate with a little bit of wine. Nolan doesn't touch upon the proposal thing just quite yet. It's still very much of the, we're still waiting on. We're going to still wait on this. Let's take a pause a little bit. We just survived this relationship crisis. Thankfully it worked out, but they're going to take a little bit of time. Anyway, back on the last storyline of the night. Trent and Bradford hit up the pawn shop, and the guy was like, just, thinking like, originally once they brought up the watch, they thought, oh, you're trying to arrest one of the homeless kids. Like, look, I'm the one who's giving them money. I'm giving them a chance in life. And once they bring up the fact that the girl's dead, they're like, ah, crap. So he whips out the watch. He hasn't put it on sale yet, but he does reveal that someone did sell it to him last night. But they assume that it was Tamara's friend, but it wasn't. It was actually the guy that Tamara and her friend were friends with that Tamara's with right now. So they just deduced that he killed her, and then at the same time he's opening up to Tamara that last night she came back over with the watch, and she said that she was going to use this watch to kind of make enough money to kind of get a fresh start, get that new chance at life that Tamara also got. And, she was going to leave the unit. She was going to try and like really get her life in order. And he was scared because he was going to be alone. He was like one of the last teenager ones left in this unit, and he didn't want to be left alone. And so he decided to try to steal the watch from her so that she wouldn't try to like start a new life. But however, she wakes up when he's trying to steal it, and he panics and he tries to like, push her back to sleep, but he pushed her too hard to the pavement, and it ends up killing her. So he tries to sell the watch to try to end the connection, end the thread there, to hopefully that no one will notice. But of course, obviously we know. And yeah, the police show up, thankfully. And the way they were styling this, I'm like, oh no, you are not going to kill Tamara. Like, you cannot put that through Chen right now. You cannot. But thankfully they don't. It worked out. Thankfully, they arrest him, and it's over. They lock him up. They head back home. Tamara's still feeling, disoriented, since not only did she lose her best friend today, she also lost another friend who also killed her. So she's not really not there, but she's still very grateful that Chen took her off the streets, gave her that second opportunity at life to kind of, still do what she wants to do with her life. And Chen does ask her like to open up a little bit about like what her life was before she met Chen, and she's not ready to talk about that yet. But Chen did advise her that, okay, you don't have to tell me now. We don't have to talk about it today, but eventually down the line, you should do it with someone, because it would help you out in terms of actually letting go and like kind of like beginning to like move on from that instead of repressing it. Sorry, I had to drink some tea. I was talking to George for like an hour and a half about some content stuff. Anyway, continuing on from that. So they wrap it up there, and I think that's basically it. Yeah, that's it for this week's episode of The Rookie. I don't think I'm missing anything else. I mean, Chen has a new pseudo love interest apparently, so we'll see how that goes. But overall, yeah, I really liked this week's episode of The Rookie. It was very solid, it was better than the first part, and that's all you can say about these two-part stories. That if part 2 gives you a thrilling conclusion, then you did your job right. Everyone had a purpose. Everyone had a lot at stake here, and everything worked out well, and definitely left some things open for like, where things can go from here as we progress through the second half of season 4. And I'm all game to see what's next for our next episode. Seems to be just like a fun one, but Nolan and Bailey back on the right track. That's great. It definitely straightened their relationship up a little bit more. Hopefully this is kind of like, this is to be for her, for Nolan and her. Hopefully that's it. Chen being involved in a little bit more of like again, it's a little bit weird that Chen basically gave up the entire undercover side of things. Now she's kind of going into like child protection, or like trying to care for children, I guess. Well, teenagers, let's just say that. And also, again, the Harper thing, it's going to be very interesting. I'm just saying, it's going to be a very steamy storyline to heat up once we eventually do get to more all throttles on that front. But yeah, for me overall, I love this episode of The Rookie. It's another solid episode, another great example why this show is one of the best on TV right now. And I'm going to give this episode 2 thumbs up, as always. I apologize for no video. We did have like a new intro plan. We had like a new editing style plan. It just didn't work out for us tonight. When we do come back later this week with Walker, and then when Rookie does come back in a couple of weeks, we will have all the new accoutrements that we've been working on the side. So hopefully you get to enjoy that. But yeah. I think that's going to do it for me tonight, everyone. So if you're unaware, this has been What's of the Two from Action X, reviewing every episode in the 4th season of The Rookie. If you want to know what we're doing normally in What's of the Two, besides our Rookie episode reviews, we're currently doing Walker Season 2 episode reviews and Nancy Drew Season 3 episode reviews each and every week after their brand new episodes on whatever nights they're airing on the CW in that case, for both of them. If you only care about The Rookie, you're in luck. We'll be back in 2 weeks for another episode review. So we're on a little bit of a break, but next week we also have our How I Met Your Father first impressions, which we will be reviewing the first 2 episodes of How I Met Your Father, which is premiering on Hulu. George is coming on for that show, so stay tuned for that. Episode 300 of What's in the Tube just came out yesterday or a couple days ago, depending on when this is going live properly, because this kind of set me back a little bit. So go check that out there. But again, thank you so much for helping us reach 300 episodes. It's been a blast. Hopefully the next wave of episodes will be even better than the last. So again, thank you so much for supporting. But again, this has been What's the Two from Action X. Please subscribe to us on youtube.com/ActionXvideos. Ring that bell for a notification when our next rookie review is live, which is usually each and every Monday mornings. Please also like, favorite, share, as always. Please also follow us on social media to stay up to date with any sort of updates we might have for the channel. But until next time, 2 weeks from now, I'll see you all members of the Rookie Nation. But until then, stay safe out there. Be good to each other. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this week's episode. But until then, peace out.